My entitled boss thought she owned me. She genuinely believed that because she was the owner's golden child, she could grind my bones into dust, pay me pennies, and I would say thank you for the privilege. She treated the family business like her personal inheritance to squander, while I was the one keeping the doors open, but she made one fatal miscalculation. She didn't know that while she was screaming at me to work through the pain, I was secretly recording every labor violation, every insult, and every illegal shift change. She thought she held all the cards because she had the net worth, but she forgot that in Finland, the union is stronger than any daddy's money. When I dropped the evidence on the table, the color drained from her face faster than a keg at happy hour. Watch how this toxic manager instantly regrets crossing a workaholic with nothing left to lose. This is a story about karma, medical gaslighting, and the sweetest revenge of all. I am doing you a favor. You would rather sit at home. Don't you care about your career? She shrieked, her face turning a blotchy red. You think you can just threaten me? I have lawyers. I have been to family court. I know how to sue people. This isn't family court, Karen, I said. Standing up, the pain in my shoulders was there, but the fire in my chest was hotter. This is labor court, and in Finland, the union doesn't care about your daddy's money. They care about contracts. Yeah, I mean, you have violated mine about 6 different ways. I dropped the bomb. I'm not just considering leaving. I'm applying to university in the spring. My body can't take this. Again, my wallet definitely can't take your generosity. She looked like she had swallowed a lemon. She realized, in that moment, that her golden child status meant nothing to the labor board. She realized she was about to lose the only person who actually knew how to run her bar. It was instant karma. She had pushed me so hard to save money that she forced me to realize I was better off without her. The fallout was spectacular. I didn't just quit. I maliciously complied. Since she said I was unfit for work without painkillers, I stopped taking them and officially went on long-term sick leave, paid by the state, which skyrocketed her insurance premiums because I had documented the hours, the text messages where she refused my sick leave, and the illegal retaliation of cutting my hours. The union stepped in. They didn't just get me my missing wages, they audited her entire payroll. Update. It's been 3 months since I walked out of that toxic hellhole. Karen is spiraling. Without me running the floor, the service collapsed. The regulars, the ones who actually spent money, stopped coming because the new staff she hired for minimum wage obviously didn't know how to make the drinks properly and didn't tolerate her abuse. I heard from a former coworker that Karen is now working 16-hour days, 7 days a week. She looks 10 years older. Her vacations are gone. Her family court issues went south because she didn't have the cash flow to pay her expensive lawyers anymore. She is miserable, exhausted, and broke. As for me, my shoulders are healing. I'm starting university in the spring to study IT, a field where I can use my brain instead of destroying my body. I'm currently collecting my union unemployment benefits, which, as I promised her, is literally more money than she was paying me. Every time I see that deposit hit my account, I smile. She told me I should be grateful for the work. Now, she's doing all the work, and I'm the one getting paid to recover. She wanted to play games with my livelihood. She found out that, in the game of labor laws, the house doesn't always win, especially when the house is run by a delusional narcissist. Karma isn't just a concept. Sometimes it's a deposit of 1,000 euros in a pain-free morning. Moral of the story, never set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. To a toxic boss, you are just a line item on a spreadsheet. If you dropped dead today, your job opening would be posted online before your obituary. Your health is your only true asset. Protect it. If you enjoyed watching this entitled Karen get exactly what she deserved, slap that like button and subscribe for your daily dose of justice. Have a horror story about a delusional boss, expose them in the comments below. Stay smart, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. To understand how satisfying the downfall was, you have to understand how much I gave to this place. I'm a 26-year-old bartender from Finland, and I don't just work, I grind. I am a self-admitted workaholic. While other people my age were out partying, I was behind the bar, mixing drinks, scrubbing floors, and literally carrying the weight of the establishment on my back. We had just reopened after the global shutdowns. The industry was fragile, and I wanted to help the bar survive. I have a contract that is supposed to be for 60 hours every 3 weeks. That's the legal agreement. But in July alone, I pulled over 140 hours. I was doing the work of 2.5 people. And where was my boss? Let's call her Karen. While I was pulling these marathon shifts, she was usually sitting at the end of the bar, treating the place like her personal living room. Karen is the definition of delusional. She would sit there, sipping expensive wine that she didn't pay for, bragging about her family's net worth to customers who didn't care, and complaining about how hard it is to manage people. I remember one specific Tuesday. I was 5 hours into a rush, sweat dripping down my back, hands flying between taps and shakers. Karen walked behind the bar, not to help, but to grab a slice of lime for her drink. "You missed a spot on the counter," she sneered, pointing a manicured finger at a microscopic drop of water. "I don't pay you to be sloppy. My father built this place on excellence. Don't ruin my inheritance with your laziness." I grit my teeth. "I'm doing 140 hours this month. Karen, I'm doing my best." She laughed a cold, hollow sound. "You're doing what you're paid to do. Don't act like a martyr. If you want a break, work faster." I swallowed the rage. I needed the money. I needed the reference. I convinced myself that if I just worked harder, she would appreciate me. I was the nice guy, the reliable one. But as I would soon find out, being the reliable one in a toxic environment doesn't get you a reward. It just gets you a target on your back. The betrayal didn't happen all at once. It happened physically, inside my own body. It started with a twinge in my left shoulder, just a dull ache, like a warning light on a dashboard. I ignored it. I told myself, I'll rest on my vacation. Big mistake. I took a week off, hoping the rest would heal me. But when I returned, the pain hadn't vanished. It had evolved. It was angry. My first shift back, I reached up to grab a bottle of vodka from the top shelf, and a bolt of lightning shot down my left arm. I nearly dropped the bottle. I tried to be smart. I tried to protect myself. I switched to using only my right hand, compensating for the injury. But the human body isn't a machine you can just rewire on the fly. Within days, my right shoulder started screaming too. It got to the point where my mornings became a horror movie. I would wake up in my bed, staring at the ceiling, and realize I couldn't physically sit up. The inflammation was so severe that I couldn't put on a t-shirt without tears stinging my eyes. It felt like someone was pouring molten lead into my joints. I tried to rest from Sunday to Tuesday, lying perfectly still, praying for relief. It didn't come. On Wednesday, I knew I couldn't do the shift. I picked up the phone, my heart racing. I hate calling in sick. I feel guilty, even when I shouldn't. "Karen," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "My shoulders are bad. I can't lift my arms. I need to see a doctor." There was a silence on the other end. A cold, heavy silence. Then she exploded. "We don't have time for you to be sick," she screamed. I could hear the glasses clinking in the background. "I have a business to run. You think you can just abandon me? I have family court hearings next week. I have stress you couldn't imagine, and you're whining about a sore arm?" "It's not a sore arm," I tried to explain. "I can't dress myself." "Go to a doctor then," she snapped. "On your own expense. I'll fix the shifts so you don't get sick leave pay, but be back by Friday." I went to the doctor. The look on his face said it all. "Both shoulders?" he asked, looking at the ultrasound. "You have simultaneous eruptions in both rotator cuffs. This is severe inflammation caused by repetitive stress. If you don't stop, you will permanently disable yourself." He prescribed heavy painkillers and ordered immediate rest. I spent that week in a haze of medication and misery. But my phone didn't stop buzzing. Buzz. Boss. I hope you're enjoying your vacation while I have to pick up your slack. Buzz, boss. I'm sacrificing my free time because you're too weak to work. You're so ungrateful. Buzz. Boss, my back hurts too, but you don't see me crying about it. This is what work is. Reading those messages while I sat in the dark. Unable to lift a glass of water to my lips, something inside me broke. It wasn't my shoulder this time. It was my loyalty. The next week, the pain was still blinding. I went back to the doctor. He looked at me sternly and wrote an official sick leave notice. This wasn't a suggestion anymore. It was a medical mandate. I walked into the bar to hand it in. Karen was sitting at her usual spot, looking over some legal papers, probably her family court drama or some dispute over her assets. She looked up, saw the paper in my hand, and her face twisted into a mask of pure entitlement. "You are being unreasonable," she spat. "Not even taking the paper. You are an unreliable worker." "I have a medical condition," I said, my voice steady for the first time. The doctor said, "I don't care what the doctor said," she yelled, slamming her hand on the bar. Customers turned to look. "Just pop some painkillers and be done with it. 2 weeks is enough. I know what's best for your health. I've had sore shoulders. You're just being a baby. You're not a doctor, Karen. I am your boss. I can't do everything for you. I am so tired." She launched into a tirade about how hard her life was, how the inheritance taxes were killing her, how everyone wanted a piece of her money. I just sat there. I let her be a douche. I let her dig her own grave. When I finally returned after the 2 weeks, the punishment began. Retaliation is illegal, but try proving that to a delusional narcissist. She put me in charge of karaoke. She knows I hate it. She knows it destroys my sanity. Since you can't lift boxes, you can listen to drunks scream Sweet Caroline for 6 hours. She smirked, but then came the financial blow. She cut my hours drastically. "We need to level the hours yearly." She claimed it's completely legal. My income dropped. I was making peanuts, and that's when we had the lunch. We were sitting in the break room. She was eating a salad that cost more than my hourly wage. "You seem down," she said, feigning concern. "I'm broke, Karen," I said flatly. "You cut my hours. I'm making a little over 800 euros a month. I can't live on this." She rolled her eyes. "You should be grateful you even have work. In this economy, you're lucky I'm so generous." I looked her dead in the eye. I had done the math. I had spoken to my union rep. I had the evidence. "Actually," I said, pulling up the union handbook on my phone, "I don't need to be grateful. If I were unemployed right now, the union would pay me 1,000 euros a month. I am literally paying 200 euros a month for the privilege of destroying my body for you." The silence was deafening. Her fork froze halfway to her mouth. "Excuse me. You heard me. I would make more money sitting on my butt at home than working for you. You aren't doing me a favor.